I've recently started a full-time job in Cornwall near where I live. For my last film, I'd like to talk about learning disability, employment and my own experiences. Very few people with a learning disability ever make it into the workplace. As news correspondent, I have talked to the government about reducing the disability employment gap, but we know there is a further and far greater learning disability employment gap. I feel very lucky to have got a full-time job in Cornwall near to where I live. For my last film, I wanted to talk to the people at United Response in Truro who have helped me. So, when did I first come to United Response? Helen Collane first helped me at United Response when I started employment support.
And the first time I met you, you were attending one of our work clubs in Truro, and Nikki was your job coach even then, wasn't she?
Nikki Dyer.
Nikki Dyer, yeah.
When you referred through the job centre to us to get a bit of extra support with your job searching, I know you'd been really successful at getting interviews, but finding it difficult to get a paid position.
The first thing I remember about you was we actually sat down and you showed me a portfolio of all the job applications you've been doing, and actually when you got to the interview they didn't kind of fully appreciate some of your kind of access needs, and so actually you always faltered at interview, didn't you?
Yeah.
Even though you had fantastic skills, and they just needed to kind of see beyond that.
You would meet regularly one-to-one and make sure that the skills that you have are the skills of the jobs you were applying for, so you had a good job match for the jobs you were going for, and also helped you with your interview preparation, made sure you were giving good replies to the questions that you were asked at interview, and help you to learn how to address maybe disclosing your disability with employers when you're in interviews.
This was an interview where I did admit I had Asperger's syndrome in there because it was a council appointment. They were listed on the website as being positive about disabled people, so that made me feel a bit more confident.
Yeah. One of the things that you were loath to do going to interviews was to declare your disability, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And actually I know that Nikki worked quite hard on trying to get an awareness about how that can sometimes help with an employer, because they understand your kind of needs a bit more.
Sometimes people have a disability, they can't, the risk is it becomes internalised into a form of self-hatred.
When I first met you, that's exactly where you were at in terms of that self-doubt, wasn't it? And not kind of believing in your own abilities, and you know, you mentioned self-hatred, and I think that's where you were to a certain extent, wasn't it? But I think your experiences in working over the last 2 or 3 years have kind of been, your disability has lent itself to being even more positive in that working environment because of your understanding of disability.
Coffee with milk.
No sugar.
No sugar. Realising that you're playing the game on a different difficulty level than everybody else, which I think is a good metaphor, because some things are going to be more difficult for you than other people, but then it's a case of you learn to work with what you've got and how you are. And then you learn to realise that how you're seeing something isn't going to be the same as what everybody else is.
David has made fantastic changes. He's really confident in himself, self-assured. He's able to express himself, and he's a real professional and asset to United Response.
As news correspondent for United Response, I've tried to raise awareness of issues of disability and employment in my reports. This role has given me the confidence to find a full-time job in Cornwall. I hope that more support will continue to be given to people with learning difficulties so that they can prove that they are just as capable of finding work as anybody else.